Pleasant good morning, everyone. Welcome to our information session for the virtual e-commerce accelerator program implemented by Caribbean Export Development Agency. My name is Philip Jackson. I am the advisor for innovation and digital business here at Caribbean Export, and I will be your host for today. Joining me from headquarters here in Barbados is Mr. Ramona Hamilton. Ramona is our program support officer in the unit for competitiveness and export promotion, and he'll be working with us throughout the program. Ramona has a special interest in international trade and digital trade, and is a very competent and very enthusiastic co-worker. So I'm very happy to have Ramona on board. For those of you who were with us previously, you know I was the lone soldier here at Caribbean Export, so we're very happy to welcome Ramona. Also, we have our two master trainers who will be responsible for the content of the program and for the hand-holding that would happen each session. So they are the experts. They are Mr. Gilbert Williams and Mr. Leighton Campbell. You would hear from them later on in the program. Also present are representatives from business support organizations throughout the Caribbean. These business support organizations would be your direct link in this program, who you would work with over the period of the sessions and to help to implement what you learn in these sessions. So you'll be working in close relationship with a BSO in your country, and you would learn more later on about how that would work. So let's get into the presentation, and I invite your participation when that time comes. Okay, so basically we have about an hour and a half, and the agenda: welcome and introduction. I would provide an overview of the virtual e-commerce accelerator program. I would then introduce the master trainers for our program. I would speak briefly about the e-commerce challenges for micro, small, and medium enterprises in the Caribbean. And then after I'm finished, our master trainers would speak about the V methodology and how the program and the interaction would work in a practical terms. When we want to finish that part in even less than an hour, and then leave half an hour or more for questions and answers, and speak about the next steps. So the virtual e-commerce accelerator program, I want to give you a bit of context. Now, Caribbean Export is a unique institution in the African and Caribbean Pacific countries. It's the only one who's fully and singularly dedicated to private sector development, especially focusing on micro, small, and medium enterprises. And the institution has been around for decades, and we take our mandate seriously. Within that context, we have recognized that digital transformation would be a key driver for competitiveness and export potential of our businesses in the Caribbean. over the years, we have made different interventions in the area of digital business, especially e-commerce. And the feedback we have gotten from these sessions is that, the information that we provided were useful, but they were concentrated. In other words, the participants experience what you might call information overload. So we went back to the drawing table and we decided that maybe the best approach is to present real actionable information, content, and intelligence on the question of e-commerce adoption and e-commerce strategy, but we do so over a longer period, allowing the participants to not only absorb the information, but implement what they have learned, so that by the end of it, they can actually have useful, functional, strategic online presence. So that is the story about how the Virtual E-commerce Accelerator program, from now on I will say VEEP, came about. The other strand of that story, which really solidifies the thinking, is that the COVID-19 pandemic, we did a survey of the impact of COVID-19 on our small enterprises throughout the region, and we found out that a lot of them had problems with business continuity. In other words, they found it impossible to continue business in the atmosphere of lockdowns and so on. And the feedback showed that an online presence or some sort of digitalization of their business would have helped them to maintain business. So that was critical information. So with that in mind, we went searching for funding for this program, and we found funding from the European Union under a program called Digital Response Connecting Citizens. This is funded through the European Union, but it's at the executive level, it's implemented through the France Agency for Development, AFD, also Agence Française de Développement, as they would call themselves. And this program was developed, so we got funding for it. So what does the VEEP pretends to do? The project aims to increase the number of firms in the Caribbean engaged in e-commerce through enhanced capacities to implement e-commerce strategies. And what do we hope to get out of it? Well, we hope that the participants would increase their volume of exports. Now, how are we going to do this? Well, the vehicle we're using is the VEEP, and the VEEP is designed to be an experiential learning program. And it's based on a coaching and hand-holding methodology. But at the core of the design, we will be working with business support organizations throughout the region. A matter of fact, it's designed to have 2 business support organizations per participating country. And as a start, and you would see why I say as a start, because the program has 2 phases, each BSO would work with at least 5 businesses, 5 companies from their country. And the BSO would be the one directly responsible with helping the firms adopt the information and apply it to what they're doing, so that they can move from wherever they are along their e-commerce journey to where they want to be. Now, that design with the BSO at the center is critical because it achieves a very important objective. And that objective is to build the capacity of our business support organization or small business development centers to carry on this kind of work long after the VEEP is finished. And this is critical part of the capacity building at the country level for private sector development, because digital transformation and digital business is a very current theme, and there are lots of initiatives and funding going forward for digitalization of businesses. So it is crucial that our business support organizations develop this sort of capacity, familiarity with content, and the methodology of working closely with the businesses that they support in these areas. So this is a critical part of the design of the program. However, to help us to get to that point, we have the service of two very competent master trainers and coaches in the persons of Gilbert Williams and Leighton Campbell, who would help us to appreciate and also to engage with this methodology. So it's evident that we are all on a learning curve. The businesses will be on a learning curve, the BSOs, as well as the master trainers. And we have developed a methodology that we hope would work. However, because we're taking a learning by doing approach, we would take stock of the lessons learned along the way, make adjustments as necessary to remain relevant and effective. And so that is the basic design. What would you like to happen at the end of all of this? Well, the digital skills of our businesses, employees and managers improve. We would hope that at least 210 firms will be trained in e-commerce. We wanted to have a specific focus on women, also at least 50% of businesses owned or managed by women. And we'd also work with businesses who have zero presence, online, zero e-commerce capability, or those who have some presence, some e-commerce capability, but want to accelerate. So it will be an interesting mix along the entire spectrum of e-commerce maturity. All the firms who are in the informal sector that are part of the program, we would love for you to transition into the formal sector. We hope over the course of the program to work with at least 40 business support organizations, but the CARIFORUM countries that Caribbean Export work with, 15 CARIFORUM countries, 2 BSOs per country, that's 30 BSOs, but there might be some countries with more. So 30 is minimum, 40 maximum. And two important metrics that we will be monitoring is that at least by your participation, after some time, there will be at least a 10% growth in export sales and a 10% increase in market access, entering new markets. Now to the structure of the program. So those of you present here today, businesses, would have responded to invitations we have sent out for you to express your interest in the program. So there is a first iteration of VEEP that we'll be implementing. Well, you see 6 months here, but the first month was spent with the BSOs, and for the next 5 months, some of you would be selected to participate in VEEP 1, a minimum of 5 of you per BSO in your country. Now, if there are BSOs who believe they can maybe take on 1 or 2 more, fine, and they can indicate that to us, and that would be allowed. But at least a minimum of 5 of you, speaking to businesses, would be able to walk along with one of the BSOs in your country. As I said before, we would document the lessons learned. We'd gather feedback from you about the approach and methodology to find out what really works well. We accelerate those. What doesn't work so well, we make changes and adjustments to suit. At the end of all of this, and during the implementation of VIP1 and to the end, we would make redesigns as necessary. And in short order, we would launch VIP2. VIP2 would work with the same business support organization, but with a new cohort of companies. So in VIP2, those businesses who may not have been selected to participate in the training in VIP1, you have an opportunity to do so in VIP2. However, we will be making all of the training sessions available to everyone online, regardless of whether you are participating upfront in VIP1 or not. So you can still at least interact with the content after it's posted. So if you're not selected for VIP1, you're not completely cut out. We have you on a special mailing list. We'll keep you in the loop. We would share the videos and all the material that supports each session. So that's it from me from the perspective of the program. Before I invite Gilbert and Leighton to speak a bit about the methodology and the approach and how it would work in practical terms, I think it will be very useful for the BSOs who are present here to introduce themselves so that the businesses in your respective countries can at least know who you are and who they will be working along with. Within the next few days, all the businesses who are selected to participate in VIP1 would be advised accordingly. Those who are not selected, because of course we're trying to work with a small number at first so that we can learn well about the methodology so that we can improve it for posterity. So that's important. Those of you would also be informed and you'll be kept up to date with the links to the content. So I think at this time, I would love the BSOs who are present to introduce themselves. So let me just unmute, let me just take off the mute control and feel free to, as a BSO that is, to introduce yourself and say which country you operate in. Thank you very much.
Oh, gosh.
Over to you, anyone?
Hi, good morning. Can you hear me?
Loud
Hello?
and clear.
Hi, good morning. My name is Shauna Jacobs, and I'm representing Invest SVG on this project. We're very excited to be going through the process and look forward to the development of the e-commerce platform. Sorry, I'm a little hoarse this morning, but looking forward to the discussions going forward.
Thank you, Shanna.
Hi, good morning. I'm right. I'm from Borbis. I represent DNR agro processing.
Thank you. So this session is just for the BSOs that are present to introduce themselves and say which country you're from so that the business participants can know the potential BSO they will be working with in VIP1 if selected.
Hi, good morning. I'm Shadron Collins, the General Manager for Youth Business Trinidad and Tobago, country Trinidad and Tobago.
Shadron, welcome back.
Hey.
Yeah, nice to see you again, man.
Hi, everyone. This is Jessica from Frontline Management. I know first time I have the camera on. I finally did some troubleshooting beforehand, but I'm here and I'm participating as the BSO for Haiti. Thank you.
Jessica, we're so happy to have you. Colleen was here last week.
Ah.
Planning agency-wide planning session, and you know it was so heartening to hear the stories coming out of Haiti and the efforts that everyone is making to make sure that there's a sense of continuity. So we look forward for your participation.
Great, thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, good morning. My name is Jasmine King. I'm representing Barbados Bay Farmers Cooperative Society Limited, and we are located in Barbados.
Thank you, Jasmine.
Yep.
Hi, good morning. My name is Caitlin Braffett, and I'm representing the Grenada Investment Development Corporation in Grenada.
Welcome back, Caitlin.
Thank you. It's both myself and Ms. Beverly Alexander. She's not here today, but the both of us will be working with the entrepreneurs in Grenada.
Great stuff.
Hi, good morning, everyone. This is Leoy Howard. I am calling from the Trinidad and Tobago Chamber of Industry and Commerce in Trinidad and Tobago. So we are one of the BSOs that will be working with some of the Trinidad and Tobago companies. It would be myself and Ms. Rihanna Paul, manager of the Trade and Business Development Unit for the Chamber.
Leo,
Leo.
happy to have you back. I look forward to your tremendous contributions as usual.
You're welcome. Look, I'm looking forward for us moving forward and having a good time as we onboard these companies.
Absolutely.
Good morning, everyone. I am Carl Taylor, and I am representing the Barbados Investment and Development Corporation, otherwise known as Export Barbados.
Welcome, Coral. We look forward to Barbados' participation, and we're excited about the prospects. Absolutely. Thank you very much, BSOs. So
Good morning.
Yes, Adju.
So sorry I got knocked off and had to try and come back in, but I am Adjoa Claire and I'm with Access Accelerator in the Bahamas.
Yeah, Adju, we look forward to working with you and the businesses there. So speaking directly to the BSOs for a moment, so we have some work to do within the next few days to make sure we finalize the list of at least the 5 companies we will be working with. And some of you are at different stages of doing that. And so that we can, in very short order, inform those companies about their acceptance into the program. And at the same time, to inform those who will be joining us in the other iteration of VIP2 about how they can still access the recordings of the sessions. So at this time, yes.
There's a question from Perez asking if there's a BSO from Belize.
Yeah, yes. there's supposed to be a BSO from Belize, Bell Trade. We're supposed to work along with Bell Trade. So
Is that person here in the?
yes, and yes, indeed, there's also a BSOs from Guyana. Just one moment.
Is the Belize BSO in the room?
No, I don't. So Guyana, the Chamber of Commerce and also the BSO in the ministry responsible for trade. I would send that information. So those of you who are from Guyana, just send me a quick email, and I will give you those contacts soon after the meeting.
Also in the chat, Tamara from Trinidad said that she's having some technical difficulties, but she's also one of the BSOs for Trinidad.
Okay, Tamara, you got to fix that quickly, okay? Because you know we need your contribution.
Yes, indeed. Okay, so at this time, I'm going to turn over to Gilbert and Leighton as they introduce the methodology and to inform us how the program would work in practical terms. So Gilbert, over to you. Thank you very much.
Okay, 1 second, guys. All right, good morning, everyone. I am Gilbert Williams, as Philip would have mentioned. I run e-commerce, well, I run a technology as a service company, which so far has allowed me to travel to countries within the global south, specifically the Caribbean, and see what technologies are missing within these spaces and build applications to fill those gaps. So for instance, we have an e-commerce platform that is supposed to be served, that will be serving the Caribbean. We have several different platforms for this region. I'm also an engineer here I'm based in the United States. I'm also an engineer here, working primarily for government agencies. What else? So I wear quite a few hats when it comes to this. In terms of web and application development, I was trained as a psychologist, educated as a psychologist, trained as an engineer. So I tend to develop application that has significant benefits for human interaction. Why I'm here, though, is completely different. I have invested significantly in the Caribbean. That's because I am from the Caribbean. I was born in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And I've always believed that we have the resources, people resources, the natural resources, and the ability to be self-sustainable. It's just a matter of having the tools necessary to allow for that to happen. The Caribbean, as it is right now, we import over $30 billion worth of food annually. So for the businesses here, there is a market for your product. If we're importing $30 billion worth of food, it means that we're importing a whole lot more elsewhere. If we can bridge some of those gaps by making your products available online, so the rest of the Caribbean can see what is available within each island, then maybe our purchases can start coming from within the region and curb some of that import. So there is opportunity here for each and every one of us. At the end of this session, at this particular part of VEEP 1, once these businesses follow their due diligence and by choice, I can guarantee you that each and every one of you will be conducting some sort of an e-commerce transaction by the end of this session, either on your own website or on a marketplace. All right, follow your due diligence. We're going to hand out, we're going to pass out our workbook. You follow the methodologies that we're teaching. Now, again, we're not perfect. And the Caribbean is a developing market, which means it comes with its own challenges. Each small business here and each BSO can probably attest to that. From our last sessions, we would have heard a number of the challenges faced. Haiti is of particular importance with their challenges being beyond what we are capable of combating in this space, but we're going to try. In front of me, I have a list of, I would say 110 firms that have registered for this VEEP session. I'm not sure that the numbers are accurate, but I'm hoping the BSOs can account each BSOs in this room. Right now we have 48 participants, including myself, Philip, Leighton, Romano, which means 44 is a combination of BSOs and businesses. In our last session with just the BSOs, at some point in time, we had up to 26 BSOs. So it means that there's probably not a whole lot of businesses here. It also means that BSOs may have had some challenges in getting the firms that they needed to be a part of this program. If that is the case, could we hear some more about that? Has anyone had any challenges getting firms that, getting the 5 firms that they were supposedly responsible for? Anyone? Each of the BSOs was able to acquire and present their 5 firms.
Well, I'll just open up the mic and share that I know the information went out at a time when a lot of people were busy. And so we're still moving to try and sign up the amount of firms that we need. And then the other challenge for us on this end is finding people who are actually ready for e-commerce.
When you say ready for e-commerce, what do you mean by that?
We're still working with a lot of people who are getting all their paperwork ready. There are different concerns with the banks and being able to sign up for payment platforms. So that's 2 things on this end that we're working on.
Okay. All right. So just to let you know, that some of the marketplaces doesn't require these sellers, these vendors to have their own payment solution. So if that becomes an issue, there is a way around that by using marketplaces. Yes, legitimacy of the businesses is very important. Anyone else have had challenges?
I shared this in one of the last meetings we had towards the end of 2022, but specifically in Haiti, I mean, we all know the socioeconomic, government, and security issues have been prolonged for quite some time, but have really been exacerbated over the past, I would say, almost a year now. So there's that. Then there are, like, honestly, the infrastructure needs, such as having Wi-Fi and, you know, a smart device, cell phone with camera and things like that, or a tablet or a desktop or laptop. And the language barrier as well, since we know these training sessions are being conducted and all the materials are in the English language only.
That's one of the things that we're definitely working on, is getting those translated or getting them localized so that you could probably have them in Creole as well as French. I think Philip did commit to getting that done. Yes.
Yeah, it's a challenge, but that's one of our mandates for working in a multilingual environment. So we would also help to maybe source French content that could supplement what's being done here.
Okay. Anyone else? Any other challenges that we have had as BSOs getting the firms that are here? Okay, I know there are a couple of BSOs who, I know St. Lucia, for instance, I think St. Lucia submitted a close to 27 firms between the BSOs. What methodologies or what techniques did you guys use to get that amount of firms? Anybody from St. Lucia?
Actually, I don't see the Lucians here, but
Okay.
for those companies, those St. Lucian companies, so yes, your BSOs apparently did some, whatever they did to sort of whip up that level of interest. So they may not be here today, but from those metrics, they are highly motivated and ready to take on the challenge.
Okay. So Shadron, I know, let me know what you guys did in order to get your firms on board as part of this program.
Well, first, we just sent it through our alumni, through our alumni networks to get persons to sign up from there. We would have sent I guess it's a term of reference in terms of what the program is about, so that they can have information from there and then select. So I think we would have selected, we would have recommended a couple of persons who would have gone through our programs before, so we know how to work with them. But I don't know if there's any other Trinidad entrepreneurs that probably wasn't selected, that probably want us to have a look. They can always just message me as well. I'll probably just put my email in the chat, and we can see what can happen from there. But I know we kind of selected our 5 already.
Okay, great. Stephanie, you with YBTT as well? I couldn't remember.
Wrong Stephanie, I think.
The Stephanie, oh, Pemberton.
Yeah, we have a Stephanie on our team as well. Yeah.
Okay, all right.
2 Stephanies.
Okay. There's a planting seed. Stephanie, what did you guys, are you a firm or are you a BSO?
Well, we were recommended to come on as an actual firm because we have an e-commerce platform on our site. So what we do, but we also are a development type of company. So we do digital business plans on our platform as well. And we were also a recipient of a grant from Caribbean Export 2 as well to build out our distribution platform for our e-commerce platform. So we are here in many different capacities because the platform that we're building is quite large. It has a range of different moving parts in it. And but what's really interesting is that our platform isn't an e-commerce platform for ourselves. So we don't actually sell anything. It's actually hosting individual stores for hundreds of other entrepreneurs who are operating in the Caribbean and may not have the funding to invest in owning, operating, managing, promoting a website and updating it with all of the different payment solutions, delivery services, that kind of stuff. So you can come to like planting seeds and look at the overall marketplace, but when the users log in, they have their own backend. We train them in IT. Our IT teams update them and we show them how to they manage their own site as though it was their own. So it's a little bit, we're a little bit a BSO in that way because we also help with their business plans. We have a TV show where they pitch their business ideas to investors that we bring to them. So we also raise private equity funding for them as well, because now our site generates statistics on their sales projections, which allows us to do business valuations. So we have a lot going on.
Yeah, sounds quite similar to what we do as well. Who else? It's Carol. You've been very quiet. It's unusual. How did you guys get your businesses here? Coral.
Sorry about that. I heard Carol, so I was
Sorry,
thinking there was somebody else.
Yeah,
Sorry about that. Well, in the beginning, as I had mentioned to Philip, we were challenged because we were looking primarily at targeted or client base that were export ready. Clients who were either now getting ready to export or already in the export market. So after talking to Philip, we reached out to some of our strategic partners, some of our sister agencies who deal primarily with micro and small businesses and who are operating, but probably have the potential to move on into the export market. And we reached out to them and we were able to get additional names. We're not quite at the 5, but I do believe that when we continue to target, we will get that 5 right now.
Yeah,
So we were challenged, but we sort of changed direction and included those companies that were not definitely at the export level yet.
yeah. Thank you for that, Carl. Yeah, in the original design, we were thinking for a very targeted approach, maybe those companies who are near export, or either export ready or near that. But then we learned since that, you know, the landscape is different. So we sort of readjusted to allow businesses along the entire spectrum of e-commerce adoption and maturity. So that is the sort of sensitive feedback approach we take at Caribbean Export, because we take a learning by doing approach that is relevant and responds to the actual situation on the ground.
Very good. So as it relates to this training, my role is relatively simple. It's not the exciting part that Leighton plays, right? I just try to keep you, the businesses in business. So my role is helping you along the line of business longevity, profitability, operational efficiency, risk mitigations, teaching you how to recognize that opportunities within the space, business growth and development, business growth and business development. Right, so that is going to be my role. So I'm going to come with some of the fundamentals. As I said, I've had a chance to review the list of companies that came in, and I started doing some research, just background checking a lot of this stuff. And the fundamentals so far is what has caught my eyes. Besides not being legally registered, some of them that says no, they're not legally registered. That is important when you start doing e-commerce business. Doing a worldwide check of your name, your site name. Differences, I have seen company names in the Caribbean that is just one letter away from an international company's name. You run the risk of being sued. You run the risk of being lost, right? Because somebody come looking for you, then spell your name, they end up with a different company. There was actually an incident recently, I think it was last year or maybe the year before, of a firm launching out of Barbados whose name was one letter away from a porn site. So that did not go down too well. So those little things, just doing the basic research to ensure that your name is something unique and cannot be easily confused is important. I also look at some of the products that some companies were producing, and the characters that appeared in some of the material were copyrighted material, right? There was copyright infringement. We cannot do that in this space. I mean, I cannot do that as a coach. I cannot encourage that. That when your business will not last long in the market with something like that. So I'm here to guide you along those lines. Recognizing opportunities, like I just spoke to you about the fact that the Caribbean imports $30 billion worth of food. That's a lot of money. That's a huge market. COVID drove a lot of people to doing e-commerce sales. But you have more reasons than one to stay in this market or to pursue e-commerce. Climate change, disasters. It's a sad reality, but it is the reality that these type of events are going to drive e-commerce even further. So you have reasons to get into it, reasons to stay. It's a profitable industry. The Caribbean is virgin territory. We have over 34 million people amongst us. There is a market space here. There's also a growing interest, well, it has been growing for quite a few years, from outside of the region, people who are trying to access Caribbean products. We have our challenges, but we're working to overcome those challenges in terms of logistics and payments. That's not going to stop us from getting ready. And as I said, by the end of this session, whichever firm chooses to be online would have an option for being online. Just do your due diligence, make sure that you're legitimate, make sure you have a bank account, that type of stuff. And as I said, our workbook would outline all the things that you need to have in place in order to capitalize on the lessons that we're teaching and the opportunities that we present. All right, I'm going to hand it over to Leighton. He's going to tell you more about what he does. Thanks.
All right, thank you very much for that, Gilbert. Everybody hear me? Gilbert, you hear me, right?
Loud and clear.
All right, great. All right, good morning again, everybody. Thanks for taking the time to be with us. Welcome, BSOs and businesses. My name is Leighton Campbell, CEO of Get Paid Group, and also referred to in my space as the e-commerce general. I have been involved in digital transformation for the last 10 years, and I've taken a very unpopular route towards my own career path. But the long and short of it is that just like Philip said, Caribbean Export learns by doing. I've been a testament of that. I'm a student of entrepreneurship myself. I've participated in other business development programs like this. I am from Jamaica, so I participated in JBDC's Accelerator program here in Jamaica, where I was awarded Most Improved Business and Best Team Player. And the year after, I was actually awarded Boss Man of the Year, being their top performing client for the year. You know, my business specializes in enabling online business in every way, shape, or form that you can think of. So from developing strategy, creating online platforms, integrating payment gateways, integrating communication solutions, and just scaling the business and promoting it at large, right? So in my practice, I consult, I train, and I develop e-commerce platforms for small to large businesses. Some of the companies that I have worked with include very small businesses like yourself, where there's only one sole entrepreneurs, up to the largest company I can think about here in the Caribbean, whether it be a bank or a distribution company, manufacturing company, or government agency. I've worked across the Caribbean, clients in Trinidad, Barbados, Cayman, to name a few, Guyana, I think, is it Guyana? No, St. Lucia. Clients in USA, Canada, UK, and as far as Switzerland, even here in Jamaica, my company is the one who delivers two-factor authentication text messages on behalf of companies like Google, WhatsApp, Airbnb, all these big companies. You know, we use these applications, and whenever we sign up, and they ask you to punch in that code to verify that you are who you are. We're one of the providers who deliver these types of communication. So safe to say, guys, that I've worked right across different industries and different pursuits, all focused on enabling these companies to do business online. With that said, because of this niche focus, we do the same thing in so many different ways that there's a solution for everybody in one way, one shape or another. And I stress this because I hear the echoed sentiment that some persons are not yet e-commerce ready, and there is no such thing as not being e-commerce ready. Yes, a company may not have all the tools and structure to tap into all the different facets and resources that e-commerce has to offer, but it does not mean that they cannot start participating within the ecosystem. And we have to keep in mind that e-commerce is not only about payment collection, guys. It's about using the internet to do business with your customers wherever they are. And doing business with your customers happen in multiple different types of ways. There's also not only one way to collect payments digitally. So keep in mind that, not because somebody does not qualify for a payment gateway means that they cannot participate in the space. As the space, COVID has driven a lot of innovation in e-commerce over the last 3 years. I will tell you that I have been driving e-commerce innovation within my space for maybe since 2016. I started to focus on e-commerce. And COVID has driven a lot of changes, a lot of positive changes, both in the availability of tools and also in the changes in consumer behavior, and even also changes in how archaic businesses who are used to doing the same thing for the last 50 to 100 years are now seeing that e-commerce is possible for them and also viable. So this program, VEEP, is a very unique opportunity to bring to light all the things that are possible in e-commerce to Caribbean businesses and to empower them to use this as a sales channel that can help you to grow your business locally and also to find new customers in new countries. My role in this engagement is to design and communicate the core concepts of e-commerce in a local sense, because we know you can go there and Google everything and get also nothing at the same time as a Caribbean business. A lot of the e-commerce solutions that are designed and are readily available to tap into are mainly available to businesses within North America and Europe. Us as Caribbean businesses have to come up with our own solutions. And the good thing is that there are providers within the space that enable us to leverage their solutions to participate in e-commerce. However, a lot of business owners, a lot of BSOs are not aware of what who these solution providers are and what it takes to get up and running with them. As a participant within this space, we are aware of what tools are available, what resources are available, and also what workarounds exist to fill in the gaps to empower e-commerce. So rest assured, guys, you are in safe hands. You are possibly in the best hands that you can be in at this stage of our e-commerce development within the space. And I will not tell you that we know it all. Space is changing and growing rapidly. I'm almost sure every month there's a new entrant in one area or another. So we always welcome your opinion, your personal experience, and your local context, because nobody knows better what's happening in your country than you, the person who is trying to do business in your country, right? And we are aware that although we are one Caribbean, there are quite a number of unique challenges specific to different countries, whether based on their size, based on environmental factors, based on political and socioeconomic factors. Different countries have access to different resources. But again, guys, in our experience working with entities across the Caribbean, I guarantee you that we will find a way for every single business to start operating in this e-commerce ecosystem. Today, I will be focusing on sharing with you the methodology for the VEEP program. It is one that we put a lot of effort and thought into. Just want to confirm that you guys are seeing my screen.
We are.
Okay, great. Just want to get this thing to go back up. No, down. Yes. All right. So I'm going to go through the program methodology for VEEP. All right, cool, great. All right, guys. So this engagement is a pretty unique engagement in terms of the program and how it's being delivered to its participants. The V program caters to both businesses and business development agencies for the main purpose of building capacity, helping persons to understand what it takes to run an e-commerce business, set up an e-commerce business, or help others to adapt e-commerce practices. Because I will tell you guys, once you start doing anything e-commerce, people around the world start asking, hey, how do you do this? How do you achieve that? And I will tell you flat out that a lot of my consulting engagements have simply come from that, me doing certain things, people looking on, asking, hey, Leighton, how do you go about doing this, and you realize that, hey, there's just need out there and persons don't quite understand this thing. But the long and short of it, guys, is that we will be aiming to build capacity within both the business support organizations to help businesses unlock their e-commerce potential, and we'll be helping accelerate these to use e-commerce in their business, to grow it, to expand in new territories. And keep in mind, guys, that what you learn here will be transferable knowledge. You will be able to use this not only within the context of your current business, but also within, if it is that you should come with a new enterprise tomorrow. They are saying that once you know it, you can't unknow it. So this is one of the things, what is one of the benefits of the course, right? I want persons to be very aware of the unique opportunity that is in front of you, to learn this type of content for free. A lot of funding has been put into making all of this available to you, and we want participants who are excited about their business, excited about transformation, excited about change, right? So when you come to the table with your business, we want all hands on deck. We'll only be spending 4 to 5 months together. During that period, we expect that the principles and practices that we work on together will become permanent staples within your business, right? Now, a part of the program will include the use of a workbook, which will become a blueprint for BSOs to unlock the potential within any size business. And I'm going to talk about the workbook a little bit later, but also look at a case study approach towards teaching you guys how to include e-commerce in your business. Now, why did we take this type of approach? At the end of the day, guys, as Philip would have mentioned, and the CEDA would have had many programs before. I've been on other trainings before where you're asked to provide training on e-commerce to a group of businesses, and you will find businesses who are from different industries, businesses who are at different sizes, businesses who sell different types of products. Some may sell products, some may sell services, some may sell courses, right? Just to throw out a few. How do we provide one training engagement that allows everybody in the room to connect with what we're talking about? Is by presenting you guys with a case study that encompasses all these different things. So we're going to talk about a case study a little bit further on the line. Another element to how the program will be executed is that we'll be having theory and practical work being done. So the first month and a half, thereabout, we will be going through a lot of theoretical concepts, just unpacking information to you guys, showing you guys a theoretical approach towards e-commerce. But when we get into the practical element of it, we will separate the participants into 3 tracks: startup, launch, and scale up. what this really means is that we're going to be organizing persons based on where they are in business so that we can speak to them at their level and set KPIs that are achievable for them, right? Startup persons are persons who have absolutely no e-commerce presence. They may not have a registered business. And that is why I want to encourage guys who don't have anything structured as yet to still be a part of the program, because they still have to know how to get into it, you know? Then you have persons who may have a registered business, maybe operating, maybe creating an e-commerce website, or may have one already, but is not making any money through it, or maybe they have a website, but they need to add e-commerce to it. These are the persons who want to put the launch phase. And then we have persons who are already participating in e-commerce, are already, have a website and want now to scale their operations. We definitely put those in those tracks and speak to them at their level, you know. And so that's the idea behind the program. Is going to be using a multifaceted approach towards enabling you guys. And at the end of the day, guys, this is a practical outcome. You know, we want, yes, we'll be unpacking theory, but we want we want practical outcomes to come from the engagement. We want to see improvements in whether it is market locations that you're operating in. Maybe it's increased sales, maybe it's increased products, maybe it is simply increased business confidence, because you now have a tool that allows you to go wherever you want to, right? So the program methodology really covers doing all these different things that help these businesses to be able to adapt e-commerce into their business in a sensible way. I will tell you flat out that one of the key outputs of this program will be to equip all participants with a formula for success. And as a participant in a previous business development program, having gotten a formula for success in what I was doing, I believe that's one of the best things that you can walk away with a program like this for, because at the end of the day, as I said, this information is transferable, right? The program case study here will include a study on a prototype business that we created called Kim's Beauty, right? And Kim's Beauty is a business that we created that should be relatable to everybody in the room, whether you're a male, female, whether you're starting up, whether you're a big business or not. But it allows you to really look at, you know, understand how this thing can fit into any business. And even as part of your own workbook, you will have to create a business case for your own business. Define it in a similar way so that your BSO can understand, you know, what are the selling points of your business and how we're going to activate it from an e-commerce perspective. So I'm going to quickly introduce you to Kim's Beauty. And this, everything that we do here in theory, we have our workbook component to it that will enable you to localize this within your own business, right? So Kim's Beauty. Kim is a certified beauty technician by the Heart Trust NTA here in Jamaica. And for the last 10 years, Kim has been working at a large hotel spa chain spa, providing beauty services to hotel visitors and bridal parties. Kimberly has now grown tired of the 9-to-5 and has decided to open her own beauty business on Howard Cook Boulevard in Montego Bay, Jamaica. Kimberly has decided to provide beauty services and products to females in the tourist town of Montego Bay. Her specialty is in equipping her female clientele with styles that make them feel trendy and confident. She has just completed the setup of her business place and is ready to sell beauty service appointments for hair, nails, face, and body, beauty products like lipstick, hair moisturizer, makeup, and nail polish, raw materials that beauty service providers use when providing their services, courses to females on how to choose and apply the right shade of makeup to their skin, customizable wedding packages to female tourists who are having destination weddings in Jamaica. During Kimberly's time working at the hotel spa, she observed how they use e-commerce strategies and tools to effectively run their business. Kimberly is about to launch her business and is trying to figure out how she can use e-commerce to grow, develop, and sustain her business while delivering value and achieving profitability. Also, how to set up her business to efficiently operate without her having to be there every day. And I think that's the greatest goal that every entrepreneur here is trying to achieve. How do we get to a point where our businesses are running without us? And as an entrepreneur, I know exactly what that ambition feels like. And the question is, how does Kim go about doing this? Right? So here we have outlined a business case that talks about selling bookable services, selling simple products that you can buy off a shelf, selling products from business to business, right? So not just to consumers, selling courses, and also selling services that require quotations. So we're seeing here where we're also looking at putting a specific location for Kim's Beauty, so we can figure out, all right, how do we use location-based marketing, you know? I also will give some context to the type of clientele that Kimberly goes up, so we understand Kimberly's value proposition. How is she different from another hairdresser or another beauty service provider out there? This is an example of a case study that will ask persons to create for themselves as part of your participation in this accelerator program, right? And from this case study, everything will flow. We'll be helping you guys to put together a number of things, and I'm going to talk about that when we get to our next set of slides, right? The schedule for the program will be a weekly one, fairly weekly one, weekly engagements. So we've already gone through the first set of engagements with our BSOs. We're now going to be imparting theory for the next month and a half to our accelerators. At the end of the day, every week we'll be looking to spend at least 2 hours with the companies talking about this theory and unpacking the information to you guys. We also expect each company to have weekly sessions with their BSOs, 30 to 60 minutes per week, just seeking to understand and implement some of the theoretical concepts within your workbook. So I just say we'll be giving you a program workbook whereby you will localize the information for your business and the BSOs. But just checking with you guys to ensure that you are completing the workbook, you understand the content, and help to provide some more context and guidance, help you guys to think things through. Your BSOs are here to be thought provokers, here to kind of be little thorns in your back to get you going, encouraging you, and just getting you to think beyond your usual way of thinking, And that's really one of the main roles of the BSOs, to really unlock this potential within the business. And during the theoretical phase, they'll be doing this through the workbook. Also, during that period, we'll also be meeting with BSOs to track the progress of the companies and the workbook completion, and also to help to solve any problems or challenges or fill any knowledge gaps that may arise. For the rest of the program, we'll get into the more practical elements of it, where we will now use the workbook, guys, to activate the different action items that we need to unlock within our business. And at that stage, we will have bi-monthly tracking meetings with the team. The BSOs will continue to meet with you guys on a weekly schedule, and we will continue to work with the BSOs in supporting you guys, right? And that pretty much covers the activity schedule for the program. Philip already went through the program KPIs and eligibility criteria. I want to touch on the evaluation of the program. Now, successful completion of the program would mean that participants would have completed their workbook with the answers to the questions that suit their business context. As I said, the completed workbook will form a guide, a blueprint for your business. So even 3 years from now, let's assume that your business has not gone through any major changes, you will still be able to use core concepts that you have documented in your playbook, in your workbook, to help to guide some of the principles of how you unlock your business potential from an e-commerce perspective. We also will be looking to set some, performance KPIs for different program tracks, and we want you guys to, work hard at meeting them. You'd have heard Philip speak also about tracking your progress even after the program has been completed. We want to see success stories coming out of this program. I will tell you flat out, guys, that in the program that I participated, I am one of the biggest success stories out of that program. And I will tell you that even to this day, a lot of the things that I learned, and this was far back as 2018, a lot of the things that I've learned are just being implemented today within my business. And you know, I mean, I'll go into a little bit more about my business and my own journey, maybe when we kick off our next session. But it has been a truly transformational exercise, and I will tell you that, guys, what you get out of it is what you put in. So we encourage persons to put in everything that you can, so that you can get out as much as you want. For the BSOs, key success criteria factors would have shown that, you know, they have successfully coached accelerators to complete their workbook and also help them to manage your progress throughout the different program milestones and potentially meet the necessary KPIs that come with the program, right? Now, these are the modules that we'll be going through throughout the theoretical aspect of our program. And of course, the practical elements will also flow from this. We'll include e-commerce business strategy, revenue modeling, payments and logistics, or e-commerce payments and logistics systems, lead generation through target marketing, e-commerce operations and logistics as an operational function, how to scale your e-commerce business automation, cybersecurity, and data analysis. And of course, we have a breakdown here of each topic and different areas that we'll be going to. So we talk about strategy, we're talking about the value proposition of the business, but at the end of the day, guys, this is first and foremost a business development program. So we have to look at some of the core business concepts as part of that will be activating through e-commerce. And one of the things that we're very purposeful about is being very strategic about how we unlock this potential. We cannot just go into a business or just expect you guys to just start adding systems and adding things to your business without it fitting a strategy, right? So we have to go through the value propositioning, target marketing, looking at your customer touch points, customer relationships, distribution strategies, and key sales activities. And the revenue model, you'll be looking at pricing and value, right? Principles and practices, understanding that your market is no longer local, and how do you model your business from a revenue perspective and financial projections. I will tell the platform guys that from my own experience, that most times a business fails because of the revenue model or does not grow how it should because revenue model is not properly organized. And oftentimes, if we don't know how to model our revenue structure, then we won't be making the type of money that we want to just be throwing out projections here, there, and everywhere. But if we don't understand how those numbers come together, then it will never meet those targets, right? Module 3, e-commerce and payment system. We'll talk about all systems related to e-commerce, so domains, hosting, security, content management systems, e-commerce platforms, payment systems, fulfillment and delivery zoning, and key customizations and maintenance requirements for e-commerce platforms. And the beautiful thing about our approach here is that we have one expert in flat-out website development, and we have another expert in marketplace development. And these are two core areas, or two core tools that can be used to activate e-commerce in any marketplace. Fourth module covers lead generation with target marketing. We'll talk about digitizing revenue streams, sales funnels, customer journeys, how to develop a following, how to generate leads, how to segment your target markets, how to develop efficient campaigns with communication tactics through the right communication channels, how to set KPIs and to meet them, right? Module 5, operations and logistics, talks about administrative functions, financial reporting, operational KPIs, time management, logistics, local delivery, regional delivery, international delivery, fulfillment centers, pickup windows. So we're talking about the whole 9 yards of operations and logistics right here, right? Scaling with e-commerce focuses on centralizing operations, automating key processes, automating your marketing and customer relationship management for loyalty. Cybersecurity covers protecting data, customer protections, business continuity, virus and ransomware, knowing your customers / vendors, and fraud protection. And guys, I mean, cybersecurity fraud has been I think one of the things that have been on the tips of a lot of persons' tongue throughout the last year, year and a half, and even here in Jamaica, we've been hit. I'm sure almost everybody here would have heard about the Usain Bolt saga by now here in Jamaica. And, you know, we're just finding that, you know, more and more we're hearing more about fraud and internet scamming and so forth. How do we protect ourselves against this? How do we educate our customers about this? How do we form positive practices and policies within our business that mitigate against this? Are things that, you know, we will definitely be talking about. Data is king, but very few persons leverage data. And if you understand data, then you can unlock a lot more in your business. So we're talking about how data drives everything, understanding e-commerce data analysis for allocating scarce resources, data analysis for streaming your supply chain and reports, right? And that covers the curriculum that we're going to. As you can see here, guys, it's a very detailed curriculum, and we'll be going through it at a reasonable pace that allows persons to understand the content and to be able to apply this to their business, right? That pretty much covers the program methodology. If there are any questions, we invite them at this point in time. You can simply unmute your mics and ask any question at this time. Whilst we wait on persons to unmute their mics, one of the key things as well that we will do that has not been documented here is to see how we can leverage our existing connections and knowledges to help businesses unlock different opportunities. So for example, one of the key things that we may say is, all right, if you're operating in this part of the country, maybe these are some of the best banks to work with. If it is that you need a payment gateway, these are the best solutions to work with, and even possibly open up doors for those types of connections. You know, we are here to support you guys, not just to deliver the content, dry, high and dry, but we're really invested, guys. We're spending quite a lot of time here together. We want you guys to be successful at what you are doing, and we're willing to go the whole 9 yards to enable that success. I see Stephanie has your hand up. Feel free to go ahead and speak, Stephanie.
All right, thank you, Leighton. Very insightful, really excited about it. I feel as though the modules really, you know, hone into exactly what needs to be done. As somebody is in it, I'm definitely interested to see what information that you can add to help me on this journey. My question is, so there's 8 modules in total, and how long is the actual training program going to take place? Is it over a period of time? I'm not sure if that's a silly question, if you've covered that already. And my second thing is, are you going to, I know that there are only like 47 of us here, but you said that there were 340 participants in total. So would you be splitting us up based on the likeness of our businesses, or how would we be broken up into categories?
Good questions. All right, so let's start at the first one. All right, so the first one to mention too, we're splitting the program into two segments. You have a theoretical segment and the practical segment. We'll be engaging for the next 4 to 5 months. Philip, you can correct me. I think we end in is it May? It's May that we end, Philip?
Yeah, right. So we have 4 to 5 months. I mean, but yeah, we would have a hard stop in May.
Right.
And consolidate for the VIP too.
Right. So throughout that period now, the first month and a half, I assume, when we were doing the training for the BSOs, we did it in 1 month. But I will say it felt a little bit rushed. We want to slow it down for the businesses because we want to ensure that the information is unpacked to you guys in a digestible way and not have too much information overload. We anticipate that each module we will spend the theoretical time, say an hour to hour and a half on each module. As I said, we'll be meeting once per week, every week, until the program, until we go through the theoretical elements. After that, we'll meet every other week for the practical element of it, right? So I hope that answers the question on the engagement format from a schedule perspective. The second question was, what was the second question again? It was, what was the second question again, Stephanie? Just remind me.
Sure, it was 340 of us, and I was just
Right,
asking how
right,
we'd be split up. Mhm.
Right, I remember now. All right, so VEEP is geared to cater towards 300 businesses and 40 business support organizations, right? So we have broken up VEEP into VEEP 1 and VEEP 2. We expect 150 businesses to participate within each version of VEEP. So what we did was really just combine that number, put it together. But what we expect here for VEEP 1 and VEEP 2 respectively, that you have 150 each. Now, you asked a very good question around, will we be breaking up persons? How will we organize the group, or how will we group persons to unpack this information? During the theoretical phase, where everybody will be together, right? The theoretical elements of it, everybody will be together, which is where we're training you guys on the core concepts. Core concepts can be adaptable and used in any way, shape, or form. When it comes to the practical elements of VEEP, what we intend to do at that point is to split you guys out into tracks, which is where we talked about the startup, the launch, and the scale-up track. Now, it's not feasible to group everybody in based on the type of business, based on the information that needs to be shared, because what we'll find, and in my own experience, talking to, I think over COVID, the period of the 3 years, I spoke to at least 1,000 businesses in helping them just to figure out how to get online. And one of the key things that we realize is that businesses have similar needs based on where they are in their process, right? So if I come and I speak to a business who has absolutely no business registered, no payment gateways, and all these things in place, and I'm talking to them about sales funnels and generating leads, all that information will be lost, right? Similarly, if I do it vice versa, the person who is more advanced will also be lost. So what we've found is that the needs are most similar based on the stage of the business instead of the industry or support. What we have done is to use the case study approach to help to make the content relevant. Now, when we are going through the practical elements of it, of course, we will speak more towards different persons, industries when we break up into those groups. Also, keep in mind, guys, that your BSOs are also a part of the developmental process. So your BSO will speak to you. I think your BSO only have 5 participants to engage with. So your BSO will speak to you every time on your level, on your content related to things specific to you. And they're supposed to be engaging with you at least once every week. They're about for 30 to 60 minutes. So that's how the program is structured. The program is structured to train everybody on the same type of information. But when it comes to the practical elements, we approach things based on your stage, and then at the personal level, the BSO engages with you in your own circumstance.
Just to add, Leighton, to give a background to the numbers. So Caribbean Exports serve 15 member states of CARIFORUM, that is 14 CARICOM member states plus the Dominican Republic. The program was designed to have a minimum of 2 business support organizations or small business development center per country. So that's 15 times 2, 30 BSOs. And we were expecting that each BSO would work along in VEEP1 with 5 companies. So that's 30 times 5, that's 150 companies. And then, of course, there are 2 iterations of VEEP, VEEP1 and VEEP2. So that's 150 in VEEP1, 150 in VEEP2. That takes it to 300. And the BSOs, we estimate that some countries may have more than 2 BSOs, so you might have a bit more than 30. So we might up to 40 companies. So that's the basis of the numbers. Now, to reiterate, over the period, based on where you are along your e-commerce adoption journey, we expect that you would work closely with with your BSOs to fill in your workbook and raising the issues, and the BSO would bring those, collect all of that, bring them back to the master trainer, so that the next session we could focus on some of the real issues from the feedback. So that explains the numbers.
Right. Also, just to add as well, being that we're technical experts here, we have opted to create some prototypes for you guys for demonstration purposes. I know Gilbert is very far away, far ahead with his marketplace structure. We'll also be having a website prototype just to show you guys technically how all of this comes together. From as in seeing it work, not just talk about it, hear about it, but seeing all of this come to fruition. And Stephanie, I know you'll probably get very excited about Gilbert's what Gilbert has to show, you know, so you can look forward to that. But Stephanie, I hope all your questions were answered satisfactorily.
Yes, it was. And I'm really, really glad that you guys are doing this, because we've been investing and putting money behind development. And as you know, with developers, you have to direct them a lot. So it comes at a perfect time for us to learn, get ahead of the curve, and learn from you guys, so that we can know how to direct, you know, our own investment into it, because we don't want any wastage.
Right, and I just want to add to that as well, to say that the reality is that we are all, outside of myself and Gilbert, most of you guys would have been experts at what you do. You're not necessarily experts at e-commerce or web design or development or what it takes to really do business online. And what I have found, especially in COVID, is that I had to demystify e-commerce to every single customer before they could start doing any work. And that led me to create a course online and start to offer training and support. And it goes back to what you just said a while ago, Stephanie, that you're looking to build out, but you need to understand the core concepts so that you can give direction, and also to understand when you make this investment in your business, what value, what's the return on investment that you expect to receive? What will it do for your business? How will it help your business? How will it help you to get more customers, make your operations more seamless? What is the return for you, and how do you go about making these investments? And this is one of the key things that I believe that this program will help to unlock, guys. You know, so when you come to the sessions, I'm going to assume that most of our businesses here are sitting business owners, but invite your marketing persons, invite your tech persons. What we're doing, guys, is developing these businesses, not only the entrepreneurs, but we're willing to pour into the other resources around your business. Because as a business owner, I understand that, you know, as a CEO, you're not going to be doing everything. You're not going to be the person putting the picture on the website. You're not going to be the person running the ads. You're not going to be the person writing the content. Invite these persons so that they can absorb this knowledge and make better decisions for your businesses.
Okay, yeah, so thank you, Leighton. I have to step out for just a few minutes, but in terms of the number of firms that each BSO can onboard, of course, we propose 5. I know one BSO in particular says, Philip, we're willing to work with 8. Okay. If you feel that you could probably work with a little bit more than 5, fine. The important thing is that you keep the numbers manageable, so that as a BSO, as you interact, that your absorptive capacity is kept at its maximum, so that you, by the end of the program, you're fully capacitated to unlend this program beyond VEEP. So, for example, Trinidad, we have 15 companies expressing interest, and Shedron and Leoli. If you think maybe you could split the 15 among you, fine. If you up to stick with 5, fine. The rest we would onboard in VEEP2. But you could play around the 5. 5 is the central tendency. But I mean, based on your capacity, maybe you could play around a little bit, maybe to onboard 1 or 2 more. So I'll be out for just a few minutes. Later, if there's any question that I can, from me specifically, I would take them in a bit.
Yeah, man, no problem. So I think we're scheduled to wrap up any minute now, but we're still online and take some more questions for the next 5 minutes. So if you have anything, guys, that you want to ask, no question is a stupid question, right? And we want these sessions to be interactive and exciting. We want to learn from you as much as you want to learn from us, right? It's a learning exercise for all, as Philip mentioned. We learn by doing, and that is what has set me apart in what I do, because I love it so much. I am my own customer. I was telling somebody recently that even down to buying my house, buying kid things for my kid. I have a newborn 1-year-old son, and these kids, they go through things like every 2 to 3 months. Everything is bought online, and I live near to I live at 5 minutes away from the largest shopping district here in Kingston. And absolutely nothing is bought down there. I can tell you that much. I tell person all the time, like, hey, Amazon is really posing great competition to a lot of local stores here in Jamaica. Why are not more persons online, And funny enough, even the things that I buy to put in my house, if I can't view it online, chances are it's not gonna get my money. Why? Because I don't have time to go into a hardware store and walk up and down only to find out that they don't have what I want. No, nobody has time for that, right? So the e-commerce landscape has been changing significantly, guys, and it is at a point now where if you're not online, you're being left behind. If you're not online, you're not competing. And as I said, being online does not necessarily mean that you're doing the whole 9 yards, because I will tell you that a lot of the household stuff that I've bought, I've actually gone into store to buy. But the journey of choosing that particular product for my household started with an online search, So I want you guys to open up your mind towards what it really means to be online and to do e-commerce. It's not just about collecting payments, Philip, is there anything that you want to add before we are asked of the team before? Not Philip, Gilbert, is there anything that you want to touch on before we wrap?
Not particularly. I find this session was relatively quiet. I would encourage more people to speak up. Thanks, Stephanie, for being vocal. But I know the rest of the group is typically vocal. If you guys have questions, please don't hesitate to ask. This is what we do.
I'm back.
Okay.
We didn't miss you, Philip. We didn't miss you.
Yeah.
Yeah, guys. So again, we are here for this particular purpose. Gather your questions over the next couple of weeks. We're really interested in getting the businesses going. So the BSOs, if they need any help in terms of getting more businesses on board.
Marvin has his hand up. Marvin.
Okay, Marvin.
Hello. Hello. Good afternoon. My name is Glasgow. I'm from Grenada, and I'm curious to know, how would an individual firm know whether or not they would have been selected to be part of that VIP1 initiative?
Yes, Marvin, we will inform you within the next few days for sure.
That's prior to next Thursday.
Okay.
Yes, the next session is next Thursday between 10 a.m. Barbados time and 1 p.m. 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. Barbados time. So you would be duly informed. Okay. But remember, even though for those of you who are not selected, you would also be informed, but you would get links to the recorded and edited version of the sessions. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
Any other questions, guys?
Even if you're a business and you have a question, go ahead, just like Gavin just did.
Come on, Jamie, go ahead and unmute.
Hi, good morning. It's not a question, it's appreciation of this meeting today. My company is in Belize, and it's a online based platform to connect healthcare providers with patients. And it's rather been very difficult to implement an e-commerce section onto our platform because it's not something widely used here in Belize. So I'm extremely looking forward to this entire project that you guys have created to see how we can implement it into our business. Our main thing is online selling of our services that these doctors will provide, and to provide some form of collection payments on behalf of these doctors to simplify the process of how a patient can see different types of medical providers, healthcare, mental health. It's such an important thing.
Right.
Thank you so much for all of this that you guys are doing. It's amazing.
Yes. Amy, I would encourage you to either reach out to Bell Trade or the Belize Chamber of Industry and Commerce and tell them you're ready to go and you're expecting their full participation, because they will be providing the hand-holding service to you. So those are the two BSOs from Belize. Feel free to reach out to them. That would be great.
Yeah.
Thank you. We plan to do just that.
And I placed the names in the chat, the names of the two BSOs. Also for Guyana, because someone was asking.
Yeah, man. I like that level of innovation, Jamie. I'm actually involved in something similar here in Jamaica, so it's good to see what you guys are doing on your end.
Yeah, I like that medical
Funny
service
enough,
development.
yeah, funny enough, I just completed a similar integration for the very same type of telemedicine type of solution here. So that's good. All right. Any other questions or comments?
Okay, well, thanks everyone. I just have some closing comments. Thank you so much for being here, both the BSOs and the businesses. Thanks to Gilbert and Leighton for laying out the environment and the challenges, but also the methodology and the way forward. We would make available the slides also to accompany the recorded and edited version of this session within the next day or so you can revisit the information. But just give me a few minutes or two to speak about the methodology. Gilbert and Leighton, we know that we worked very hard together and went to several iterations to arrive at this unique, well, I think it's a unique methodology. I've studied similar programs across the world, and we're very proud of what we are able to come up with. We listen to the BSOs about how they think it should work, and we've combined the best elements from experience, from best practices of others, and from feedback. But the methodology is a work in progress. Of course, we will be very open and sensitive to feedback and to monitor and evaluate how it's working and make adjustments as we go along. So just remember, the most you can do to help the process is to be very open and transparent about what you're thinking and what your feelings are, and very open feedback. That's the best you can do to bring this sort of insightful and actionable information to the system so that the system can learn together as we go along. Like I said, we're a big believer and supporter in learning by doing, and I want us to see that we are part of a collective enterprise, all of us, part of this collective enterprise of corporate and cooperative learning and doing as we go along. And I think we have a tremendous opportunity to create a model that will be the envy of the world in terms of how to go about e-commerce adoption approaches dealing with micro, small, and medium enterprises. On for more on the business of doing things now. If you're a BSO and you have any outstanding questions, please send me an email soon after we get off, and copy to Ramona Hamilton. The last email I sent you, his email is there. So please, and he's also in the chat. So send your questions. We're here. Today is a full working day for VEEP, dedicated to VEEP. We'll be here to respond and in the next coming days also. Questions related to if you want to maybe onboard maybe a little more than 5 individuals, etc. Questions you want us to send you the latest list of persons who have expressed interest from your country. Although I think it's the versions we said before pretty much what it would look like, because it has stabilized. The applications have stabilized for a while now. So I look forward to your participation, and we would keep everyone informed accordingly. And please be open, transparent in your feedback, in your suggestions, as we try to perfect this approach, as we learn by doing. Thank you very much. Have a great day, and I want to wish everyone every success in their endeavors. We really appreciate the partnership, and we're excited and committed to working together to see this through. Bye.